So as you know...
Is it your turn again? Again?
I don't know. Is it? Who did the last one?
No, I did. So you keep going.
Okay.
You were doing a great job. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
This is The Measure of an Episode, where it is our continuing mission to explore what makes Star Trek proper Star Trek and not just the village. I'm Jonathan.
I thought it was more like Avatar. I even felt like there was imagery, some symbology that looked like Avatar. Like there's a lot of blue stuff.
Right, like the flying snakes. Yeah.
And I'm Paul. And the criteria by which we judge these episodes, number 1, is there science fiction inherent, explored in the plot? Number 2, is that science fiction unique or novel in some way? And number 2, is that science fiction unique or novel in some way? Sorry, I got rolling. I couldn't stop. And number 3.
And number 2.
Yeah. Is that... No. Number 3, is there a moral or ethical dilemma? And I'm Paul.
And I'm Jonathan. And damn it. You have it up, don't you?
This week, we watched Star Trek Lower Decks.
I had it up, I closed it, and I totally forgot to pull it back up.
Yeah.
Sorry, what did we watch?
A likely story. Lower Decks, Season 3, Episode 7, A Mathematically Perfect Redemption.
Oh, that's right.
And I don't know if that is a reference of some kind, because they never say that, but they do say a mathematically perfect something at the very end. Anyway... The blurb, a wayward Starfleet ensign struggles to find a path to redemption.
That's funny. I like that it doesn't say at all who the wayward ensign is.
Right, because this might be the best episode of Lower Decks that I've ever seen. I know I said that last week, but it's for a different reason. Because last week, it's because I like nostalgia, you know?
Sure.
Everybody likes nostalgia. And so, I'm a sucker for nostalgia. And so that's why I liked the previous episode about DS9. I felt like,
right.
And they handled it well. All the jokes landed. It was nice. But this one, I like for an entirely different reason. I feel like it's a better reason, a more virtuous reason. It was super funny. I laughed several times out loud, which we can go through and explain all those jokes later, as we want to do.
Right, in detail, yeah.
And but also, I think that this is maybe a proper Star Trek episode.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Did you? So going back to the very beginning, did you watch the opening credits this time?
I did.
Okay.
I kind of felt like that was important, so I watched the whole thing.
Right. Okay.
I probably didn't recognize all of the references. I'm sure there are many.
No, not just. It was nice, kind of like the Enterprise episode, where the mirror universe, they had that alternate intro. Like I did like that this time around they had, the intro from Peanut Hamper's perspective.
Right. Well, they redid the music.
Uh-huh.
And it was a nice, I don't know, I loved it. I actually, the part I liked the most was the first 5-10 minutes where she's still in space. And this idea that she has been out there for a long time.
Right.
I guess it's kind of unclear how long she's been out there. But this idea that she was abandoned and kind of just drifting in space, maybe for eternity, as far as she knew. And then we fast forward a little bit and she's been kind of wallying her way into getting to like a warp capable ship,
Right.
And then she kind of had her own little Wilson, which was a Castaway reference, I'm guessing.
Right. It had to have been.
But even when it's just sort of a very Rick and Morty-esque scenario where she gets to the planet and kind of has to, ostensibly, she tries to assimilate herself into the culture and marries one of the people. And, even all of that I was okay with because there was some intrigue in there. There was intrigue that, they're not just a primitive race, but they do have ships. They did have ships and they realized it was destroying and tearing apart their culture and their planet. And so they decided to eschew it, which is very much insurrection. I understand that.
So the thing that kind of threw me off about that, though, was they were impressed by her technology instead of being like angered by it or telling her not to use it. It
was unclear if they all knew about the old ways.
That's fair. Right.
I mean,
the
children definitely didn't. And so that's why they were kind of impressed by the candy machine. Yeah, I thought it was just fun and like it's super funny. Like whoever played the exocomp was really funny, right?
Right. Yeah, her delivery was great.
I laughed. I had to rewind it and watch it again. I thought it was that funny, where they're like flying and he's carrying the bird guy is like carrying her in the sky, and she says, "Sing for me," and he starts singing and it scares the shit out of her. Like, I thought it was super funny.
Yeah, this was an episode where the bleeps were perfect. Kind of like when Mariner did the skydive and she had to like climb back up the tower, and just her swearing in those moments being bleeped out, like how it added to the humor rather than just being unnecessary. Like I feel like this episode kind of had the same thing.
Yeah, they were all perfectly. They placed them well, even though this probably had a much higher bleep count,
right,
than most of the episodes we've seen so far.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was all pretty funny.
So the thing that frustrated me about this episode, and I guess it's fine because like not everybody is going to always have a change of heart at the end, but the fact that she still had the attitude at the end of the episode, like after everything she had done and gone through, there was still no attachment, which kind of shows that like, yes, she's able to have a quote unquote personality, but no attachments. Like there's no emotion in that exocomp.
Well, she's a computer.
Right.
She's
exactly.
not a human.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't say that explicitly. I don't know if they're trying to say that, if that's the moral of the story or what, but I liked that it didn't have it was totally unexpected.
Well, okay, so let's go to criteria number 3 then. Like, what are you saying is the moral and ethical dilemma?
The moral and ethical dilemma was, do I sacrifice myself for the greater of the good? And whatever her intention was behind that, which obviously was not a good intention, she still did it. So I think that counts.
Okay. All right. I'll take it. I do like that that self-preservation insofar like as the episode with the exocomps on TNG, where we talked about it so much that I don't remember if this actually happened, where there was one that was like, no, I don't want to go. And they managed to convince it to go. Like, is that what happened? Or was there like
an original Next Gen episode?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Do you remember?
No, what happened was they all rebel and say we're not going to go. So then they all go at the end to save whoever, and one of them has to stay behind.
Right.
And so one of them sacrifices.
I knew that, but I was wondering if at the initial like mission, one of them was like, no, I'm not going. Okay.
Fucking Kevin ruined everything again.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that happened.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that may have been a little bit of headcanon.
Right. Okay.
We do see the exocomps before in Next Gen, obviously, and in this show. And I do like that they continued the development of this very interesting new life form. Mm-hmm. And this one obviously had a personality before, so I get that part. But the idea that it was assembling and salvaging different parts from this starship graveyard or junk field, whatever you want to call it, and was making a ship and found like enough dilithium crystal to go to 0.5 warp or whatever that was. Like that was interesting to me. It wasn't just jokey joke. It was, she's actually doing something. She's trying to save herself and that to me is pretty cool. Felt like I've never seen that before in the show. And it was novel that a non-humanoid, a computer was doing that, kind of a la Wall-E.
And this episode had no quote unquote humanoid because the birds were kind of, in a human fashion, but protagonist.
I did like that when they got married, she had either grown or assembled a beak.
Right.
That was funny to me. There was a beak.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that? Oh.
Yeah.
Does that make like oral bird sex better? I should probably say bird oral sex better.
It must.
I'll have to ask around.
I can't imagine it would make it worse. Like,
well, that might make it worse. I mean, I don't know what bird peni look like. Do you?
No, I know they're orange.
I know duck wieners are like curly and long.
Right.
Should we continue with this?
Well, so I do want to say I I'm very curious to see how this what this leads to. If it is just going to be kind of a season 3, right? This is season 3, yeah. A season 3 nothing, and come back later, or if it is going to be something that ties together later on in this season. The fact that Peanut Hamper got parked. Got parked next to the robot played by Jeffrey Combs.
Agamus?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that part. It's one of those things where I recognized his voice, but I couldn't quite place it, so I had to look it up.
Yeah.
End of story.
Well, yeah, and he's been in a previous episode, and he got locked up, and so now she's been locked up next to him. So I feel like this is all being tied together for something else.
I would hope so. They keep dangling things, interesting plot lines, and then never coming back to them so far. And I don't know if this show has a history of doing that. If that's the joke, if this is the Arrested Development type of joke, you know.
So far, yes. I mean, this ties back to season 1 finale where she was just floating in space, you know, and now we see her story. The next episode is going to be tying back to, you know, one of those other previous episodes that we're gonna have to watch. You know, so yes, it seems like those little tags at the end that are normally there as just one-off jokes are actually leading into bigger storylines later. Yeah, so I'm happy to go with you. Yeah, it's a proper episode.
Yeah,
and it was a great episode.
Made me laugh, but anyway, yeah, really loved it. I loved it, and I love that they got the ship running again. Both ships. It was this giant thing, and now maybe they're going to join the Federation. That wasn't in there, but you know, I like to
right,
extrapolate.
But it is possible. I mean, the situation is there.
Oh, you said it made sense,
right?
So okay, well, I'm excited now for the next episode to not talk about anything that we've seen before.
What?
The next episode, they're not going to talk about anything that this previous season has uncovered yet. Rutherford's fucking past, why he's a robot.
Oh, I see.
now.
I see. Okay, I'm with you now. All right, got it.
So we're accepting applications for a host of Measure of an Episode. If you'd like to apply, please email us at themeasureofanepisode@gmail.com.
Or leave a comment below letting us know that you do want to replace me.
Yeah, anywhere.
I will be sure to delete those.
Okay, well, all right. Do you have anything else? Anything else stick out to you?
No, just we do have the title of next week's episode, so that's kind of nice.
What is
we
it?
haven't had that for a while. It's Star Trek again. It's in the Lower Decks franchise or series. It's season 3, episode 8, Crisis Point 2, Paradoxus.
Is this a continuation of something?
Yes, it's a continuation of the season 1 episode Crisis Point.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
So should we watch both of them?
Yeah, we should watch both of them.
Okay.
Sure. Okay, well, I guess we'll see everybody next time. I've been Paul.
I've been Jonathan.
And this has been The Measure of an Episode.
But you already knew that.
Yeah, keep people guessing.
Going just completely... All right, we'll give you a clue. It's not in Star Trek. Now we're just taking people up from anywhere. But you already knew that.
Wow, we went Disney, like hardcore.
Well, yeah. Those are the two that I could just pull out on top of my head.
All three of them.
Oh, but you already knew that.
I feel like that's what you've done the last 3 times, and then I tell you, you can't just do scratchy, grumbly voices.
But you already knew that. All right, hold on. Let me come up with one.
Well, we have like an 11.
Yeah, but I want to do an actual Star Trek one.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like, especially the animated ones, like they're all just this.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one.
Okay.
So go for it.
What's the last thing? This has been The Measure of an Episode.
But you already knew that.
Is that the owl that licks the Tootsie Pops?
Yeah. Shouldn't have said yes.
A 1, a 2,
right.
3.
3. 3.